Hey everyone, this is DayTraderRockStar, and I am here with you with a special video here. Now, looking in front of you on the screen, you see what's called a 10 for 1,000 watch list. Now, the 10 for 1,000 watch list is a watch list, a specialized video watch list that I put out every Sunday for this site, DayTradingRadio.com. Composes of stocks that we trade with our methodology, called high probability setups, or translate into multiple indicator setups based off 5 important indicators. Now, every week I try to put out some educational videos going over this. You know, it's something I'd love to share. It's something that I love to teach, and it's just so exciting when you see it play out like it does. So we're just going to go over a few videos tonight, just because I am so excited just to see how things are coming together. And I just want to stress how important it is to be a disciplined, a focused trader, a trader that has a parameter. That you don't fall outside your box. You don't get involved in cheap crap stocks, penny stocks. You don't get caught up in over trading, but you stick to a method. This is a job. This is a job that we want to have. We want to continue to have this. We want to be able to trade and travel and stuff, but you're not going to do that if you have no game plan going into it each morning. You're hoping to catch a momentum stock. You're trying to just try to survive. This is a plan. This is a battle strategy, a tested battle strategy. It works so well. And all I'm going to do is continue to bring it to you. Continue to bring the setups, let you see them. Some cases you'll get them before, some cases you'll get them after the fact. You always get them before the fact on the show, so always come by the show. But overall, you're going to learn, you're going to get the education, you're going to get the skills behind it. All right, so let's start this off here. I want to go to let's go to my charts here, and let's see what we can do here. I'm going to bring this over here so we got everything lined up properly. All right, so we have this as lined up properly. This is the first MEE. This is Massey Energy. And it's interesting because on the show we had a miner call in, or I actually interviewed a miner who was talking about the coal stocks. And, he got me looking at them, and I said, wow, this is a great setup. And the reason is it's one of the strategies I use. It's called, what we call a rock hard stock, a stock that's been really holding the 20-period moving average. And the first pull back on the stochastics, the first oversold level on the stochastics, or a buy, especially when this price is holding above the 50-period moving average. Simple strategy. We took it for a trade, got a nice little point on that. Probably it's going to even head higher. This usually just means it's the first pullback inside of a larger range uptrend. So this is just a tighter trend. Now we're going to get into a wider trend, and it's going to continue to move up here. So that was MEE. Very nice trade. Big shout out to you, Nathan, out there down in the mines in West Virginia. Take a couple other ones here. Now again, these are off the watch list. Most of these are off the watch list, and the watch list again is constructed using important indicators. And I'm going to go over this. This is a lot of these stocks. I'm not even going to show you the setups. What we're going to do is we're going to build them and show you how I found them. So, in case of this one, this was a high probability setup. CIB, this was actually what went out, something similar to this went out on the watch list video, except it has the buy triggers and the targets and everything lined out for you. But basically what we're looking at is a recognizable downward wedge pattern, a 200-period moving average, lower trend line support, oversold stochastics. Everything about this made this a high probability setup. And taking that trade off the lower trend line, which we did, you got a nice bounce. Well, actually, we actually took it off the 200-period moving average, and we got a nice upgrade. And what's great about this is we're taking quality stocks on pullbacks. Most likely, we're going to catch these stocks, and soon after, analysts are going to come out and upgrade them and stuff. So we're already ahead of the curve on this, and that's exactly what happened. We got a little upgrade, and we took the profits. I took the profits into this. This still looks great for a further move up. I want to try to buy this one back. Maybe, possibly tomorrow. I like the pullback on this. Everything else looks good. But again, we're not going to run into the high probability setup because we lost the stochastic indicator. First thing I want to do is really concentrate on giving you the perfect setup. And the perfect setup is with those stochastics in an oversold level. All right, Red Hat. Red Hat was an interesting trade this week because it happened so fast. It was on a focus list. I said, you know what? Here's another good quality stock that's pulling back. The key here is the stochastics were oversold. And you can see the stochastic's not really getting embedded in here. It's usually very, has a nice wave to it. So we were back down here in the stochastics, and we started selling off. Now fast, very fast, we're trying to do some calculations here. And one of the calculations I do call is the 1, 2, 3 method. And basically, I look for the first 3 pivot areas on a stock. 1, there's another pivot area up here. 2, a pivot area over here. So basically, you take the pivot area is basically where a stock moves from an uptrend or a downtrend and reverses for a couple candlesticks, whatever the time period is. It doesn't need to be anything structured there, but it has to be a reversal in the smaller trend. So here we have 2 points. Here's a reversal from an uptrend to a downtrend. And here we have a little uptrend to a downtrend. And down here we have the first real one that starts off this pattern is just a kind of a little sideways consolidation, but this spike up really confirms that. But all we want to do is really see the 3 pivots on here. The first 2 pivots will always be on one side. So once you have that one side, those 2 pivots, you can automatically do a third line. And then what you want to do is basically take the other pivot and just make a parallel line. Equal distance from the original trend line caused by the other 2 pivots. And that's going to give you your first real target to look at buying. And this was an exact hit on Red Hat. We bought into strength. The next day it ran up. And then it even followed through today. But we took profits in it. That's the key to the whole thing, the glue. But this is called the 1, 2, 3 method. And you see me pushing this a lot recently because this is the first technique you're going to get to really learn how to construct a new chart, construct a pattern before the pattern really becomes an obvious pattern. So you're able actually to construct a pattern before a pattern happens just by 3 pivot areas. That pattern most likely we want to be is a wedge pattern or a downward channel, but we have an idea of what's going to happen. The combination of having the stochastics, that really shows me that you're going to have this wedge pattern, stochastic setup, probably a great level to bounce off of that. So Red Hat was a textbook 1, 2, 3 pattern, something I use every day on the station. Let's take a look at NLC. This was also from the 10 for 1,000 watch list. And what's the same thing here? You're looking at a downward channel, quality company, downward trend line. So you have so you have a lower trend line. We always want to buy quality on lower trend lines. You have a double bounce on the stochastics. I mean, the stochastics came back down. I trade stochastics a lot, so I always look for these double bounces. And the double bounces mean usually an extended move up because once you break through that recent high in the stochastics, that's just like almost a chart pattern. It's a very bullish signal. So in this case, we got this thing. We took the position. This one that came out about 4 days ago, so we knew it was on the lower trend line. It was good, and it actually moved up and it continued to move up here on NLC. So that one continues to look good. Stochastics in the bullish area. 1 day consolidation. I would expect it to move higher. We took profits in that anyway. Excuse me. So say you have this stock here, and it's called Allstate. Now, I want to teach you something here. Let's not talk about what has. Let's learn something here. So when we look at a stock and I see a stock like this, I definitely look at it and I said, well, what I like about this? I like it has a lot of pivots areas in it. And once you start to see a lot of pivots, you can start developing trend lines. So the first trend line you're probably going to see is everyone looks from the top of the chart to the bottom of the chart. So you take that trend line and you're drawing it in here and you're like, wow, that's a great trend line. Very opposite, you're going to take the bottom of the chart, you're going to see if it matches up, and right there you have this huge triangle that's playing out. But that doesn't impress me. I don't really like triangles. But what I did like is this upward trend line. All right, so I'm not really concerned about this. I do like the upward trend line. I love the 200 period moving average, and I love the oversold stochastic. So it's really a 3 indicator setup here. Now, when you look at a chart like this, you always, once you see the pivots, you have to use the 1, 2, 3 method just to calculate targets on your entry. So your entry is down here. Now, where are you going to look? So once I start to see this, a lot of people would say, look for this as your target, sell into the resistance, but actually spike through that. And I said, you know what, we're going higher. It might have a little resistance here, but you know where we're really going? Because there's a hidden channel here. There's a hidden upward channel. It's a perfectly formed channel. Boom, boom, boom. And you can actually do it from 1, 2, 3, 2 trend lines. You already have this trend line in. So you already have this pattern, and you already had this. This was based on the 1, 2, 3 pattern too. You could take 1, 2, 3, put this fourth line in, buy it off of here. That's a combination of multiple indicators telling you to buy here. This target is up here now. It's no longer here, it's up here. Also, and that's how we construct a trade like that. Very easy. All wraps up because the stochastics are oversold. Well, my wine is done, so I'm not even going to get up. I'm just going to finish this video. I would rather get up and just pause it and get a glass of wine for you. LQDT. All right, this was, probably one of the nicest, prettiest charts I found last week. And what was nice about this is I zoom right in on the stochastics. Stochastics are coiled. What I call the coiled stochastics, where the range gets tighter and tighter. So it's something to coil in and getting tighter and tighter. When I see a coiled stochastics and I see a recognizable pattern, a trend line, a channel, everything's pointing for an explosive move to the opposite, to the upside here. So we recognize this pattern. We put, I did my research on the news. I checked the fundamentals. Everything's good. Check some of the news. Everything's great. Quality company. Off the lower trend line. We know it actually bounced. Actually, we took it here and it bounced up to the top of the trend line. And then, I said, you know what? Good shot of it pulling back, but we pulled back right back down to the lower trend line. But the stochastics were telling us, this thing's ready to go. So right when we, said watch this for a reversal, we were watching a reversal, we knew we were going to get the follow through. We had we had a larger volume day on, what was that, Wednesday. So we knew we were going to get that follow through. We got that follow through. Now what's very special about this, and this is great for people who are just looking for a trade this week, tomorrow we have increased volume, we have the tight stochastic indicator. This one should take off and break out here. So if you're getting this tonight, you're very lucky because you can put this on your watch list tomorrow. You'll be very happy looking for a move to $15 on LQDT. All right, PGR, what can you say? People will look at this and I'm like, wow, textbook. This is such a beautiful pattern because see all these pivot areas. Boom, boom. Stochastics are working real nice. And the double bottom here. So, instantly you're looking at some trend lines. And I think when I put this chart together here, what was I looking at? Because like I said, I'm building this with you again. And, this is what I'm looking at when I'm seeing it. Probably seeing something like a wedge pattern like this. But even looking at it, this doesn't even matter because the wedge pattern or the downward channel, which could just easily be a downward channel here, would be all in that same area. But that's why a wedge is really working here much better because you have that pivot area here, a pivot area here, and a wider and wider pivot, and it actually breaks out in the 75% area. And this was all described on the 10 for 1,000 watch list that goes out. Shows you about the 70, gives you the education behind the chart patterns. You have the 200 period moving average, but what was really important is the lower trend line support and the 75% pattern completion here, because this is where you're going to get the breakout in that 75% area. And the stochastics, everything lining up for a nice move out of this pattern. So it was just another textbook trade. Excuse me. Now, let's finish off here giving you a couple of good setups going in. Now, I was going to do a whole special video on this stock. I'm going to give you a stock that I am very excited about because it hasn't really gotten a move. I'm looking for 10 points on this stock. This is a little bit different one. Most of, I'd say, have most of my position in it down, and you could see the pattern, and they're like, what kind of stock is this? This doesn't look like it's a normal stock. Well, I haven't told you the name yet. If you listen to the show each day, you probably know the name. It's a Chinese airline stock. It's China Southern Airlines. And it's just absolutely a textbook 5 indicator setup. It's a textbook setup. And there's a beautiful channel line here. All right, there's a beautiful wedge pattern forming, or even a channel. Like I said, it could be, as long as you have that downward wedge or channel. I want to call this a channel right now because we have a target up here. We have the stochastics that worked out so well on this stock. This is China Southern Airlines. Each time the stochastics come down under that 20 level, all right, there's an opportunity in this market. Now the combination of the pattern here, and each time that the stochastics come back and we're off of a major technical level, be it a 200 period moving average, a trend line, or something else, we have a great opportunity. In this case, right now, in this case, we have one of the rare instances where we have that almost perfect setup. You have the oversold stochastics, you have the recognizable downward channel, you have the lower trend line, you have the 200 period moving average, and you have an upward trend line. All right, everything lining up here. So this is a very exciting stock for me. I think we're trading at $27. I think it's a great risk reward here. I'm going to be looking for a move up to $35 because we're going to get a move up out of here. At least up to the 30 point. We're talking $26 right now, $26, $27. We're going to probably get a gap up, and it's going to continue to move up and break through this downward channel. These downward channels, majority of the time, break to the upside. But we'll know what's going to happen based on the stochastics and the momentum. Very easy setup there, and love it. So, a gift to you guys out there who haven't seen this one. I'm sure you're going to hear about it soon. I'm going to give you another one that. Well, we all know that Amazon came out with earnings tonight. So Amazon came out with earnings, and I was hanging out after markets on the radio, and we're watching Amazon take a hit. It came down to about 164. So I'm doing some charting here, and I'm like, all right, let me get my 164 area up. Let me start to figure out what I can put together here. That's what I love to do, build charts. So it was around 164. So that, put a little X here, just to let me know. That's where we're going to open up about. So I can move that down. We're right about there. That's where that candle, we're going to have a big gap. And I'm like, all right, so what do we have around that level? Well, we have this little pivot area here where we kind of pulled back. And then what we also have is that high that we just put in from today before the earnings came out. So you have 2 points here. Because you're going to gap up, you're going to gap down. So you automatically have an entry. Now, what I would do here is look, this is not, I'm just doing this on the fly with you right here, and I think what we're going to look at is a channel here. So I think, if we go back and look at this setup here, you're going to see that level right here is that's about 161, 162, 163. I'm making this, we're going through this on the fly, so we're going to have to really decide if this is going to be a wedge or a channel. Well, what I'm telling you right now, this area down here is very nice on Amazon because we will pattern out here. This will eventually form this pattern, all right, and this pattern will form like this, all right. Be it a wedge or be it a channel here, wherever that price comes down to meet, it'll probably be something like this. We're probably going to see a couple days of selling, but not even. We might just move right up tomorrow. We might start moving right up into this thing. We're going to push right up against that trend line. There's not going to be really a gap. We're going to work back into that gap. We're going to get sucked right back into the 170s. So really like that setup on Amazon. It's going to give us an opportunity tomorrow. All right. There's one more stock I want to send out, but I'm going to save it for tomorrow. Be sure to tune in. I'm on the air every day from 8:30 in the morning to 4 in the evening. The whole market day, we're trading live. You have a live video screen of all the trades, and you learn how to trade properly. All right, people? I would pound the table. I love my job. I love teaching it. I feel good about this. I want everyone to get to the same point in life. All right? You're not going to do it taking any shortcuts. You need to learn how to trade properly. I stand behind this 110%. All right? I'll talk to you guys in the market.